There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the world feels unbearably heavy, when the silence of unanswered prayers and the weight of unfulfilled dreams press against your heart. You look around and see no sign, no light, no reason to believe that anything could change. But what if I told you that in your quiet despair lies the doorway to divine transformation? That in the very moment you feel most abandoned, creation is listening closest. The secret is not in waiting for life to change, but in speaking life into existence. Every hour, every breath, every heartbeat. There is a power within you that responds to the words you whisper in faith. And when you learn to speak from the end, as though the miracle has already happened, life bends itself to meet your conviction. This is not positive thinking, this is divine creation. And today, I will show you the words to say when hopelessness visits you. Words that summon unseen forces, awaken your inner light, and invite miracles to move through your life with grace and certainty. The power of imagination, the hidden architect of miracles. When everything around you seems to collapse, when your mind screams that nothing will ever change, that is the moment when the greatest power within you waits to be remembered. Your imagination. You see, imagination is not a mere escape from reality. It is the workshop of creation itself. Every mountain, every invention, every love story, and every miracle that has ever touched this world began first as an image within someone's mind. When you feel hopeless, the temptation is to surrender to what your eyes can see. The empty bank account, the rejection, the loneliness, the illness, the delay. But what if you could understand that your physical world is not the cause of your emotions, but their reflection? What if the things you see are only shadows of the beliefs and feelings you have accepted as true? Then, your task is no longer to fight the outer world, but to reform your inner one. This is the secret of the masters, to close the eyes of the flesh and open the eyes of the spirit. Imagination is divine sight. It is the bridge between what is and what can be. Every time you imagine something with feeling, not as a wish, but as a living reality, you plant a seed in the soil of your subconscious. That seed, if watered with faith and persistence, must grow into form. When hopelessness visits, instead of surrendering to despair, surrender to your imagination. Enter that quiet inner space and dare to feel what it would be like if everything were already solved. Don't think about the change, think from it. If you are sick, imagine the joy of perfect health. If you are poor, feel the relief of abundance already yours. If you are heartbroken, rest in the warmth of love fulfilled. You are not pretending, you are creating. The world will call it delusion, the wise will call it faith. The universe does not respond to your circumstances, it responds to your vibration, to the emotional tone you hold most often. And that tone is shaped by what you imagine to be true. Think about it. Every time you replay your fears, you are using imagination in reverse. You are creating future pain in advance and wondering why the cycle repeats. But the moment you change your inner movie, your outer world must realign. You cannot dwell on lack and attract abundance. You cannot live in fear and receive love. You cannot keep imagining failure and walk into success. The law is impartial. It gives you what you habitually imagine, whether it serves you or not. So, when hopelessness whispers that nothing will ever change, close your eyes and remember this world is only clay, and your imagination is the sculptor. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. Circumstances are at the mercy of your mind. Start small if you must. Imagine simple, believable shifts. A phone call, an opportunity, a kind word, a sense of peace. Let those moments accumulate like drops of light until they overflow into tangible miracles. Speak softly to yourself. I am the creator of my world. What I imagine with love must appear. Repeat it every hour if you must, because every repetition strengthens the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Miracles are not accidents. They are the natural results of inner alignment. When you persist in imagining the good you desire, you align with the creative energy that governs all life. And that energy cannot fail. Even when everything appears silent, even when nothing moves, the unseen forces are arranging themselves behind the curtain of time. The flower does not bloom the moment you plant the seed, but beneath the soil, life is already at work. So it is with your dreams. Don't dig up your seed with doubt. Water it with gratitude. Every hour return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. See it. Feel it on it. The universe always follows the rhythm of your belief. If you truly understood how powerful your imagination is, you would guard it as the most sacred gift of your soul. You would never use it to picture fear or loss again. You would train your mind to dwell only on beauty, peace, and success. You would realize that imagining your desire is not daydreaming. It is commanding creation. The invisible responds instantly to your inner conviction, and though results may take time to appear, they are certain once the inner picture is accepted as truth. Remember, the outer world cannot resist a firmly imagined inner reality. What you continually imagine and feel will harden into fact. So, in your darkest hour, do not pray for a miracle. Be the miracle in thought. Every time hopelessness strikes, close your eyes and say, I already have what I desire. It is done. Feel the warmth of that truth. Let it saturate your mind until it becomes your new reality. You will notice subtle shifts, coincidences, inspired ideas, unexpected calls, each one a reflection of your renewed inner state. Stay faithful to your imagination, even when nothing makes sense, even when logic laughs at you. Because faith is not believing in what you see, it is knowing that what you see must eventually bow to what you feel as true within. And so, when you feel hopeless, remind yourself every hour that imagination is not fantasy, it is creation. You are not powerless, you are powerful beyond measure. The key is not to ask, when will it happen? But to rest in the conviction, it is already mine. Hold that truth like a flame in the dark, and soon the darkness will vanish. Life will rearrange itself to honor your belief, because miracles do not come from luck or chance. They come from the unwavering imagination of one who dares to believe that they already are what they wish to be. And when that belief becomes your way of seeing, miracles will no longer be rare events. They will be the rhythm of your life. Live from the end, the secret door to miracles, there is a profound truth hidden in plain sight, one that few ever truly grasp. The secret is not to live toward your desire, but to live from it. The difference may sound small, but it is everything. When you live toward your desire, you remain in a constant state of wanting, of casing, of waiting for something outside of yourself to happen. But when you live from your desire, you step into the consciousness of already having it. You begin to think, feel, and act from the place where your dream is already fulfilled. That inner shift is what moves mountains, because life always reflects the state of being you occupy within yourself. When hopelessness tries to convince you that things will never change, the most powerful act of faith is to dwell in the end, the finished scene, where everything you seek has already come to pass. It means you no longer beg for a miracle. You become the version of yourself who already lives inside it. You walk, talk, and think as the one who has received. You don't ask, when will it happen? You declare, it has already happened in me. The world might call this delusion, but the truth is, this is the only creative stance that works. Because all creation is finished in the unseen. Every possibility already exists. Your job is simply to align with the one you choose by living from its completion. Imagine a film that's already been written, acted, and recorded. You, as the conscious creator, can choose which scene to dwell in. If you keep replaying the scenes of failure and disappointment, that is the version of life you'll experience. But if you close your eyes and step into the final scene, where your desire is fulfilled, where peace, success, and joy are already yours, the film of your life begins to rearrange itself to match that ending. Living from the end is not pretending, it is embodying. It is claiming your inheritance before it appears in form. And when you persist in that inner knowing, the physical must eventually conform to your new vibration. To live from the end, you must first learn to detach from appearances. What you see now is not final. The current state of your life is merely a shadow of your previous assumptions. If you want a new reality, assume a new state of being. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you have shifted universes. The outer world may take time to catch up, but the change has already been made. You can prove this for yourself in small ways. Let's say you desire healing. Instead of praying as one who is sick, close your eyes and feel the vitality of perfect health flowing through you. Instead of asking for abundance, feel the freedom and ease of one who already has more than enough. Instead of yearning for love, rest in the warmth of being deeply cherished. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between what is imagined and what is real. It simply accepts what you feel as truth and reproduces it outwardly. Every hour, remind yourself, I am already where I desire to be. This is the key. When you think and speak from the end, you train your mind to dwell in the frequency of fulfillment. You are no longer waiting, you are living it now. And as you do, invisible forces align in your favor. You'll notice synchronicities, people showing up at the right time, unexpected solutions, and doors opening where walls once stood. But all of that begins inside, in the private chamber of your imagination. The miracle always starts in the unseen. Living from the end does not mean you ignore reality, it means you interpret it differently. When something appears contrary to your desire, instead of falling back into doubt, remind yourself that appearances are temporary. You are not reacting to what is, you are standing firm in what will be. You understand that faith is seeing with the eyes of the spirit, not the senses. You no longer let fear dictate your inner dialogue. You persist in the inner conviction that the end you imagine is already secured. This is the path walked by every person who has ever witnessed true transformation. They did not wait for proof. They became the proof. You see, your inner state is the seed, and life is the soil. When you plant the feeling of fulfillment and nourish it with unwavering belief, time must bring forth the harvest. The problem is that many plant the seed but uproot it daily by checking whether it has grown. They affirm their desires for a moment, then let doubt and fear undo the work. But those who live from the end remain steady. They refuse to let outer appearances shake their inner vision. They walk in quiet confidence, knowing that the unseen is already forming the scene. They rest in peace because they understand that their job is not to make things happen, but to allow them to unfold. So when hopelessness visits, don't fight it, transcend it. Step into your imagination and feel the relief of your miracle already done. Live in that scene until it feels natural. Speak as one who has already received. Think from victory, not toward it. When you adopt the state of the wish fulfilled, life mirrors that assumption with mathematical precision. You cannot live from love and not attract it. You cannot live from abundance and not experience it. The law is unchanging. The outer must conform to the inner. Every hour remind yourself, I already am what I wish to be. Say it with quiet certainty. Feel it until it settles deep in your heart. Don't seek signs, become the sign. Don't chase the outcome, embody it. The universe always follows the conviction of one who has already arrived. That is the secret door to miracles. To live, think, and feel as though the dream were already a fact. Because in truth, it already is. You are simply aligning yourself with the version of reality where it exists. So, live from the end, not toward it. Be the fulfilled self now. Speak from that state. Move from that state. Love from that state. When you do, miracles cease to be exceptions, they become your way of life. The moment you choose to inhabit the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your world begins to bend toward that conviction. And soon, what once seemed impossible will stand before you, not as a miracle that came from nowhere, but as the natural outcome of the faith that dared to live from the end. Inner speech is the seed of miracles, the words that shape your world. There is a quiet dialogue that never stops, the constant stream of thoughts, words, and assumptions that pass through your mind from the moment you wake until you fall asleep. Most people think this inner conversation is harmless, but it is, in truth, the most powerful creative force in the universe. Your inner speech is the seed from which all miracles grow. Every word you whisper in the silence of your mind is a command to creation itself. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner dialogue made visible. Change your inner speech, and you will change your entire life. When hopelessness tries to take hold of you, it is your inner conversation that either feeds it or dissolves it. And when you learn to speak within, as one who already possesses what you desire, you awaken the miraculous power that has been waiting to serve you all along. You see, every thought carries vibration, and every feeling adds life to that vibration. When the two unite, thought and emotion, they form an inner decree. The universe responds not to your spoken prayers alone, but to the energy of the thoughts you repeat within yourself day after day. If your inner speech is filled with fear, worry, doubt, and complaint, then those vibrations shape the experiences that appear before you. You cannot speak defeat inwardly and expect victory outwardly. You cannot keep rehearsing pain in your mind and expect joy to bloom. The law of life is simple yet profound as within, so without. What you say in secret will shout itself in the open. Think about your daily thoughts. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you say to yourself? Do you greet the day with expectancy or dread? Do you affirm that something wonderful is on its way? Or do you repeat the same tired fears about lack, struggle, and limitation? The difference between those two mental patterns determines the kind of day you will live. Inner speech is not just mental noise. It is prayer in motion. It is the language by which you instruct the unseen to shape your destiny. When you feel hopeless, you have only to change your inner dialogue. Instead of saying, nothing ever works out for me, declare, everything is working in my favor. Instead of whispering, I'll never get through this, affirm, I am guided, protected, and blessed. At first it may feel unnatural, but persistence will make it your truth. Miracles are not summoned by chance. They are born from consistent inner conversation aligned with faith. The moment you begin to discipline your thoughts, to become aware of what you are telling yourself, you take command of creation. This is how great transformations begin, not with outer action first, but with inner speech that matches the desired end. If you want love, speak lovingly within yourself. If you want abundance, speak abundantly. If you want peace, let your words within be calm and trusting. The universe listens to the tone of your heart more than the volume of your words. Every hour, whisper something beautiful to yourself, something that affirms life, hope, and fulfillment. I am chosen. I am blessed. I am guided. I am abundant. I am healed. Say it when you feel nothing, and soon you will feel everything change. There is no need to force or beg for miracles. Miracles come naturally to those whose inner words are aligned with the energy of belief. The moment you begin to speak inwardly as one who already possesses the good you desire, the outer world starts to rearrange itself. Opportunities arise, synchronicities appear, and people are drawn to you as if by invisible strings. But it all begins in that quiet chamber of your mind. Your outer reality cannot resist the steady vibration of your inner conviction. If you have been living in a storm of negative thoughts, you can start right now to speak calm into your world. Begin by noticing what you say to yourself most often. Replace every word of fear with one of faith. Turn every doubt into an affirmation of certainty. Transform every "I can't" into "it is done." You might not see immediate results, but do not let that shake your faith. Just as a seed takes time to grow beneath the soil, your new words are taking root in the unseen. Keep watering them with repetition and belief. The more you repeat words of truth and power, the deeper they sink into your subconscious mind, and the subconscious is the fertile ground where all creation begins. It does not argue, it accepts whatever you impress upon it as true and brings it to pass. So if you constantly speak of fear, you plant fear. If you constantly speak of abundance, you plant abundance. Your job is to choose which seed you will nurture. Inner speech is the golden key. It unlocks the door between your desire and its manifestation. This is why every hour matters. The more often you return to the inner voice of certainty, the faster your outer life aligns with it. Say quietly, "It is done." Say it when you doubt. Say it when you're tired. Say it when nothing seems to work. The power of repetition engraves the belief into your being until it becomes your natural state. And once that state is established, miracles cease to be rare. They become inevitable. Understand this. Hopelessness is not a punishment, it is a signal. It means you have been speaking against yourself for too long. But the moment you recognize it, you have the power to reverse it. Every negative thought is just a shadow. Speak light into it. Every fear is just a memory. Speak courage into it. Every delay is just an illusion. Speak speed and ease into it. Your words are not powerless echoes, they are living energies, seeds that grow into form. What you consistently say in silence will one day stand before you as your reality. So when despair whispers, answer it with faith. When your mind tells you there is no way, speak boldly. My way is already made. When the night feels endless, say, the dawn is rising within me. Say it every hour if you must, not to force the world, but to remind yourself of who you are. A creator, not a victim, a speaker of miracles, not a prisoner of circumstance. The more you repeat the truth, the more it becomes alive in you. In the end, everything you experience flows from what you continually whisper to yourself. Choose your inner words as you would choose your closest companions, with care, with love, with wisdom. Let your inner speech become a sacred rhythm of faith that plays all day long. And soon, the music of your words will become the melody of your life. A life overflowing with miracles, peace, and fulfillment beyond anything you once thought possible. Because when you master your inner speech, you no longer chase miracles. You become the voice that calls them home. The law of assumption in motion, becoming what you believe, there is an invisible law governing every movement of your life. A law older than time, silent yet absolute. It is the law of assumption, the truth that whatever you assume to be true, whether good or bad, becomes your living reality. This law does not care about appearances, effort, or logic. It listens only to your inner conviction, to what you believe yourself to be and to have. You are not punished by the world around you. You are shaped by the world within you. The moment you assume a new state of being and hold it as truth, life must obey. You don't need to beg, plead, or chase. You only need to be in consciousness what you desire to see in form. That is the divine secret. Assume it is done, and the unseen will rearrange itself to make it visible. The law is always in motion, whether you are aware of it or not. Every thought you persist in, every emotion you dwell upon, every belief you hold deeply, all these form assumptions, and these assumptions are creative. If you constantly assume lack, you will live in lack. If you assume rejection, rejection will find you. If you assume you are unlucky, life will echo that song back to you. But the same law that binds you in limitation can set you free the moment you assume differently. Change the assumption, and you change the outcome. The outside world is nothing but a mirror. It reflects what you dare to claim as true about yourself. The law of assumption does not ask you to work harder. It asks you to believe differently. It invites you to step beyond appearances and declare, I already am what I desire to be. You must not wait for proof. You must become the proof. To assume means to take upon yourself the feeling of the fulfilled desire. You act, think, and feel as though it were already accomplished. You live from that end until it feels natural. Then, like the morning sun after a long night, your new reality breaks forth effortlessly. This is not fantasy, it is the divine pattern of creation. Everything in existence moves in harmony with what you assume to be real. When you understand this, hopelessness loses its grip. For you realize you are never truly stuck. You have only been assuming the wrong thing. Life does not happen to you, it happens through you. Every moment offers a new choice of assumption. You can assume that life is against you, or you can assume that everything is working for your highest good. You can assume that you are unloved, or you can assume that love surrounds you wherever you go. Whichever one you persist in will soon become visible fact. This is why your inner world is sacred ground. The assumptions you plant there determine the harvest of your future. But here is the key you must assume with feeling. Empty words do not move the universe, only conviction does. When you speak, I am abundant, but still feel like your words carry no power. But when you declare, I am abundant, and feel the warmth of that truth rising within, the law is activated. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the signal that commands creation. It tells the subconscious, this is true, and the subconscious, being obedient and creative, accepts it without question and shapes your world accordingly. You cannot outthink this process. You must outfeel it. Feeling is the language of the unseen. Many people struggle because they keep shifting assumptions. They assume success one moment and failure the next. They believe in love today and doubt it tomorrow. The law responds faithfully to their mixed vibrations by giving them a mixed reality, a life that rises and falls, full of confusion and contradiction. But once you decide to assume firmly and consistently, the entire universe begins to move in your favor. Things that once seemed impossible begin to unfold naturally. The law never fails, only our persistence does. Every hour, pause and ask yourself, what am I assuming right now? If your thoughts are filled with fear, you are assuming fear. If you are feeling peace, you are assuming peace. The law doesn't choose sides, it only reflects. So make the choice consciously. Assume the best, assume harmony. Assume that what you desire is already yours, and hold that feeling gently without strain. The more natural it feels, the faster it manifests. Don't worry about how it will happen. That is not your concern. The how belongs to the unseen intelligence that governs all things. Your only task is to assume the end and remain faithful to it. You will know your assumption has taken root when your reactions change. You will no longer be shaken by appearances. Even when challenges come, you will feel an inner calm because you already know the outcome is secure. That quiet confidence is the sure sign that the law is working. From that point onward, events will unfold in perfect order to fulfill your inner picture. People will appear, opportunities will arise, ideas will come. Everything orchestrated by the invisible intelligence that obeys your assumption. This is the law in motion. Unseen power bending visible reality to match your belief. Once you taste this truth, you will never again feel hopeless, because you will understand that your destiny is not written by chance, but by choice, the choice of assumption. You will stop waiting for the world to change before you feel fulfilled. You will feel fulfilled now, and the world will follow. That is true mastery. When you wake each morning, before you even rise from bed, assume the best about your day. Assume that things will go smoothly, that opportunities will find you, that love will greet you. When you meet people, assume they like you, respect you, and wish you well. When you pursue a goal, assume it is already accomplished. The more you live this way, the more natural it becomes. Soon what was once imagination becomes experience. So, let this be your quiet affirmation every hour. I assume only the best, and so the best becomes my life. Say it until it feels real. Live as though your desires were already fulfilled. Refuse to react to the temporary. Rest in the eternal truth that your assumptions are always shaping reality. Because the moment you assume something as true, truly, deeply, consistently, the universe begins to move heaven and earth to prove you right. And when you understand that, hopelessness vanishes. You no longer wait for miracles. You realize you are the one who sets them in motion. The law of assumption is not wishful thinking. It is divine law, constant and unfailing. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, live from it, and soon the world will echo your faith in form, time and beauty beyond measure. Persistence until it hardens into fact. The silent power that brings miracles to life. There comes a point in every journey of faith where everything seems still. When the dream feels distant, the prayer feels unanswered, and your mind whispers, maybe it's not meant for me. That is the moment when most people give up, not realizing that their breakthrough was seconds away. The difference between those who manifest miracles and those who surrender to defeat lies in one sacred quality: persistence. Persistence is the invisible bridge between the unseen and the seen. It is the quiet decision to keep believing when every appearance contradicts your desire. It is the unwavering stand in faith that says, even if nothing changes, I remain unshaken, because I know that what I have imagined must come to pass. This is how every miracle is born, not through force or luck, but through the steady fire of persistent belief until the unseen vision hardens into undeniable fact. Persistence is not struggle. It is not about pushing harder or exhausting yourself in pursuit of an outcome. It is the gentle, consistent returning to your inner conviction, no matter how loud the outer world becomes. You may feel doubt, you may feel fear, you may even feel hopeless. But persistence means you refuse to let those feelings define your state. You come back again and again to the vision of your fulfilled desire, nurturing it in the silence of your imagination like a gardener tending a hidden seed. You know the flower will bloom. You do not dig it up every morning to check. You water it with faith, sunlight, and patience. And though the soil may look unchanged, you trust that life is unfolding beneath the surface. That is persistence in its highest form. Every great transformation in history was built upon this principle. Every person who has ever achieved greatness, healed from despair, or witnessed the impossible made possible, did so by persisting in the unseen long before the evidence appeared. They did not wait for signs, they became the sign through consistency of faith. The law of life cannot resist a consciousness that refuses to waver. What you hold within long enough must externalize. This is not hope, it is law. Persistence is the hand that shapes your invisible desires into visible form. But persistence is often tested. The moment you assume your desire is real, the old reality may seem to fight back. You may face delays, contradictions, and disappointments. These are not signs of failure, they are signs of transition. The old state of being is dissolving, and the new state is taking root. The storm often rages loudest right before the dawn. That is the time to stand still and persist. Most people interpret resistance as a message to quit, but it is the opposite. It is the universe asking, do you truly believe? Your answer must be your persistence. Hold fast to the end you have imagined. Speak it, feel it, live from it. Even when your senses scream otherwise, remember, the outer world is always catching up to the inner one. When hopelessness visits, persistence is your refuge. It means you keep declaring the truth of your desire every hour, even if tears fill your eyes. It means you whisper, it is done. When nothing yet appears done, it means you thank the unseen for a miracle that only your spirit can see. Each act of persistence is like striking the same spot of stone until it finally breaks open and reveals the treasure within. You may not know which strike will do it, but you trust that it will. The persistence itself guarantees the outcome. The law cannot deny it. Persistence transforms the mind. It teaches you to master your reactions. You stop being a slave to appearances and become the master of assumption. You learn to hold your vision steady in the face of contradiction. That steadiness builds magnetic power within you, a quiet confidence that draws all things necessary for the fulfillment of your desire. You begin to notice subtle signs: a conversation, an idea, a coincidence, an opportunity. None of these are accidents. They are the ripples of your persistence moving through time. The moment you persist in a belief with emotion and repetition, life bends to accommodate it. The greatest trap on the path to manifestation is impatience. Many give up because they expect instant results. But persistence means understanding divine timing. You realize that delay does not mean denial. The universe is aligning events in perfect order, and your faith is the signal that keeps the alignment in motion. If you quit believing, the process halts. But if you persist, calmly, joyfully, faithfully, the process continues until completion. The moment you decide to never give up, you have already won. To practice persistence, make it a ritual. Every hour, even briefly, return to your inner scene, the one where your desire is already fulfilled. Feel the joy, the peace, the gratitude of having it. Let that feeling become familiar. When doubts arise, don't fight them, replace them. When fear speaks, answer with faith. When you feel tired, rest in knowing that what you have assumed must come to pass. You are not waiting for the miracle. You are waiting with it. You are walking with the unseen reality that is already yours. Persistence is not about perfection, it's about direction. Even if you fall into doubt 100 times, rise 101. The power lies in returning, again and again, to the truth of your vision. That return strengthens your spiritual muscle. It tells the universe, I am serious about what I desire. And the universe always rewards the steadfast heart. Every word of faith, every moment of belief, every silent act of endurance moves the unseen closer to visibility. And then one day, without warning, your persistence will bear fruit. What once existed only in imagination will stand before you as undeniable fact. You look back and realize that every moment of patience, every act of faith, every repetition of your inner vision built the bridge to this very moment. You'll understand that miracles don't happen suddenly. They happen slowly through the persistence of belief until the invisible crystallizes into the visible. So when hopelessness whispers that your dream will never come true, remember this: persistence is your answer. Keep the faith alive in thought, word, and feeling. Return to it hourly if you must. Speak to your desire as already done. Hold the end in your heart until it becomes your nature. Because the truth is simple and unbreakable. What you persist in imagining, you will one day experience. Every repeated thought, every unshaken feeling, every act of faith is carving your miracle into form. Stay steadfast, stay faithful, and life will have no choice but to reflect your inner certainty. For persistence, more than hope or talent or timing, is the silent power that turns the invisible into the inevitable. Until your vision, held long enough in faith, hardens forever into fact.